Hi and welcome back to my channel. Things are looking crazy different today. If you've been following over on Instagram, you know that we were affected by the major downpours in our area and our basement flooded. So this is where the couch usually is, and this is where I'm typically filming most videos. And now I'm sitting on a little chair. I'm going to insert a little footage of that in a second. But yeah, so we are adjusting. I'm trying to make it work. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. We're trying to just figure out if we're gonna have to rip up all of the flooring. There's a good chance that that's gonna have to happen. So in the meantime, we have everything that was downstairs for the most part is upstairs being stored in our living room, which is crazy. So we're all kind of in really close quarters. And as a mom, sometimes it's nice to be able to be like, guys, just go play downstairs. You're a little crazy, whatever. Go spend some time downstairs playing with your bajillion toys while I, clean and organize upstairs or whatever it is. And for the past week, we haven't had that luxury. But with that being said, it's important to add that I recognize how lucky we are. There are lots of friends and neighbors that unfortunately lost almost everything, a lot of everything. And I mean, we threw out some old boxes of stuff that was just sitting there, old clothes that I was hoping to donate, never got around to. A lot of it I was able to salvage and we were able to donate. And I mean, everything else is pretty much okay. It's just that it's stored in weird places. So again, incredibly lucky, incredibly blessed, and I recognize that. But yeah, there's something to be addressed in all that I think is important for me to share with you. And again, if you've been following for a long time, you know that, my ex and I split up. My daughter and I, Riley, she was just one. We moved into a small apartment. We were trying to make it work. I wasn't making tons of money and we were kind of struggling. We did okay. We made it, every week, but there was no extra. And it was a really hard time. But also, when it came to my mindfulness, I certainly had a victim mindset. I certainly blamed everybody and everything outside of myself. And, I was looking for somebody to be mad at. And although, yes, of course, things with my ex and I weren't great. And, I had the right to be mad at him in some senses. At the end of the day, I had to learn that no matter what happens outside of me, the things that I cannot control, they're the things that I can't control, right? And the things that I had the ability to control were how I react to things, how we move forward, how we bounce back, how resilient I am, and just choosing to get up every day and just try to make the best of the situation. And we all have that power. And I think it's important to talk about because for so long I struggled with that. And I'm finally in a place where I trust, and it might be so delulu and whatever, obnoxious for some people that just don't get it. But I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that we have the power to change our perspective, our narrative, our mindset, literally in just a flip of a switch. And it's all about kind of training that mental muscle. And as a single mom who became one, not necessarily by choice. I mean, I chose to end things with my ex, but it wasn't a choice in the way that choosing to have a second child was a choice. Do you know what I mean? I didn't walk into being a single mom with my first on purpose in that sense. You catch my drift, I hope. But yeah, so there was a lot of adjusting that I had to do. There was a lot of growing that I had to do. And again, train that mental muscle to get into a place of gratitude and actually peace and enjoying being an independent mom without that but you're doing something wrong by being alone, and if you don't find somebody soon, well, you're in your prime, you're gonna die alone, and all this nonsense, right? Because we're taught that directly and indirectly in the media and the movies that you watch or whatever. There's always that chasing a fairy tale thing, and the fairy tale is 99.9% of the time a man. Even in the movie, sometimes she'll be like chasing this career and she's super excited about this career, and then all of a sudden she's in a coffee shop and bumps shoulders with this man, and then life changes and he's the prize. And that's not, there are men that are fantastic and they are a prize and they are great and they add nothing but value, and together it's just magic and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not just that. You have to find that magic within you, especially if you're a single mom or you're somebody who's considering becoming a single mom by choice. It's important to just find that love and that spark and that positive mindset within yourself. That way you have that joy wherever you go, right? And I was actually listening to a podcast with, Shay Mitchell from Pretty Little Liars. I loved her. I didn't really know much about her, but I stumbled upon this podcast, and it turns out she speaks my language fluently, and I loved it. But she just talks about and she's a mom. She has 2 kids with her partner, but she just talks about how at the end of the day, you have to choose you. She's not into titles, and I've never really been, even though I was engaged to be married, I've never really necessarily thought I need to be married. I need to get a ring. I need to walk down that aisle. I need that piece of paper. And for some people, that's it. They need that, and respect, okay? For me, it's never really been a thing. I'm okay with that. And people are yeah, but I bet you'll find your person. That's okay. Sure. I don't doubt that. I know that there are great matches out there for me, and I'm a great match for them. Absolutely. But does it take away the value of our commitment to one another to add a paper into the mix and a pretty dress? No, I don't believe that. Again, to each their own. But yeah, she just talks about how at the end of the day, choosing to be with that person, that's all that really matters. But you need to, no matter the situation, really be choosing yourself. Keep your identity, still fill your cup, still do your things, still go out with your girlfriends, still work on your career, still try to advance in your own life. And that person, you should be growing together with this person, absolutely. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you need you to be good in motherhood, in a partnership, in business, and whatever. It all comes down to you feeling good about yourself, and you feeling empowered, and you feeling aligned, and you just finding joy in the day-to-day. But yeah, I wish somebody had told me that lies in me, and I had heard it passively or whatever, and it was whatever, yeah, okay, it's I have the power, and I thought it was so idiotic, because what does that even mean? But when you really take a step back, and there's so much more of manifestation and stuff out there, and mindset work and all that you can just access anywhere really, you really can see that it's true, and it's not some annoying Delulu thing. It's factual, it's science, and it's legitimate, and you have the opportunity to choose immediately right now to have a positive mindset about whatever your situation is. Now, as a single mom and or single mom by choice, why this is so incredibly important is because in motherhood, in life, even without motherhood, there are challenges, obviously, right? There are things that are come up, like a flood that you're not expecting, and you're there's things that are just gonna knock you down if you let them, because that's life. And even the best, Buddha, whatever, there are things in life that we have to get over, little hurdles. But if your mindset is right and things like this happen, they don't knock you down so much. And they might knock you down a sec, but you're quick to get back up. And again, that's it's a mind muscle that you need to work on and get to a place where you're not beaten up so bad by life's little bumps, So I want to talk more about this because I think it's incredibly important. It's something that I love talking about. I love learning new methods and whatever. But yeah, just as a mom, as a woman in modern day, you deserve to have skills that will build your resilience and help you thrive in this world and just everyday life, truly. So if something crappy like a flood happens, you can bounce back and thrive and be better than ever, and recognize that it can always be worse, but also recognize that with every, fall back, there's always, what is it? I don't even know the words that I'm looking for. It's important to recognize that at the end of the day, the worst things that could happen, it's really not the end of the world. In a lot of situations, we have the power to just bounce back, and it's all about choosing your perspective. So for example, when the flood happened, I was panicking because I was like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like, nothing like this ever happened to me. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what does a person do in this situation? And that was the scariest part, until it was the whole basement was full of water. And it was like, we brought up everything that we could. We acted as quickly as we could. We lost a few things, but at the end of the day, they're things, like they're items. My family is fine. We're healthy. You know what I mean? We have an abundance of food, and we're blessed to say that. You know, we have everything that we need. We have a roof over our heads. We're good. We have, in, you know, perspective, right? We are wealthy AF. There's food, there's shelter, there's clothes on our backs. So we're already ahead of the race in some senses. So all the things that we did lose, which was not much, again, very lucky, they're things. Things can always be replaced. But when, you know, there was a beautiful photo album that was in one of our boxes that we never got to when we moved in. I totally forgot about it. I was like really pregnant when we moved in here. So a lot of stuff, we had movers that brought stuff in, and even get to some of the boxes, okay? But again, that speaks to how much crap we have. Again, stuff that we don't need, abundance, and just things that we do not need. We have too much, right? Again, blessing, abundance. We're very lucky. But yeah, so unfortunately we lost a couple of photo albums. They were completely destroyed. There was some there was a calendar from when Riley was a baby, somebody made for me. Garbage. It was completely soaked, drenched, never gonna, it was gross. It had to be thrown out. And that sucked. That was sad. Of course, it's like a memory. But then it was like, this thing has been in a box for 3 years. And we weren't like, oh my God, where is that album? Freaking out. No, right? So we weren't losing sleep over it for 3 years when we hadn't seen it and completely forgot it even existed, to be honest. And then for it to be put in the garbage, it was kind of like, that sucks. But again, perspective. Nobody had thought about this album for 3 years. I forgot we even had it. I forgot we had that calendar for 3 years, okay? And anything else that was there, like a couple of little kid outfits or whatever that were in boxes, like when Riley was a baby. Again, hadn't really thought about them, right? So does it suck to see them go into the garbage? Of course. I'm still emotional. I'm still a human. I'm still a mommy. You know, to see those things go sucks. But I hadn't been losing sleep over them for 3 years when I hadn't seen them anyways, right? So I could have chosen in that moment to just be completely distraught and oh my God, and woe was me and whatever, oh my God. Or I had the ability to choose hey, that sucks, but these are all things. I have my child right here in front of me, happy, healthy, thriving. I have my other child in front of me, happy, healthy, thriving, with clothes on their backs that fits them. The clothes in the box doesn't fit them anymore. That's why it's in the freaking box. So at the end of it, you get to choose. You get to choose that all is good. You're allowed to still be emotional, yes, and feel all the things. And when life kicks you in the ass, you're allowed to be like, damn. But don't let it kick you down for so long, because as a mom, as a mommy, or someone who decides, if you're on this journey, they're always going to look to you. Your kids are going to look to you. Riley was so upset and so frustrated, and she's like, well, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening to us? And my friend down the street, she didn't get flooded, and she has a driveway that goes down, so a lot of times those people do get flooded. Ours goes up, so we were like, we're gonna be fine. And it gave me an opportunity to tell her, shit happens, and we lost stuff. We're fine. And it was an opportunity to help her change her perspective. Leo is completely unfazed. He doesn't even know what happened. He's just oh, okay. Because I've showed him that it's oh, okay. We're okay. We are so lucky. In the grand scheme of things, we are obnoxiously blessed and lucky. So when you look at it that way, it's kind of hard to be oh, I lost a couple of items that really couldn't have mattered that much because they were sitting in a storage bin downstairs for 3 years, right? So you can really apply that mindset to everything. And I'll bring you back a couple years now when I was kind of forced out of my corporate job, and I had been there for over 8 years. That was really hard. I had a freaking major breakdown about that because it was like, wait a minute, now I'm a single mom of 2. How the am I going to pick up the pieces here? And I had a really gnarly cry, a couple of them. But I was just like called to, okay, just like meditate. I've never meditated. I've never been somebody who would like really sit there and like, or whatever. Okay, I'm not skilled in that whatsoever, but it was like, just calm down, just chill and be quiet. Sit on the floor. If you weep, you weep. If you just whatever. Just try to just chill. And you might find me crazy, or some of you might actually get this, but I just had this overwhelming feeling of calm that was like, you're good, you're fine, it's all working out for the greater good. Now, I didn't love my corporate job. I liked that I got a paycheck weekly, I was on salary, I knew I was getting money, where it was coming from, whatever. That, of course, you become dependent on that. That's kind of nice, of course, luxury. But I didn't like the work that I was doing. I didn't enjoy it. When I went in every day, I was like, I don't want to. And I'd sit at my desk for hours on end, and the minutes and seconds would crawl by, and it was misery. And it was like every day I was like, I cannot wait for Friday. I cannot wait for Friday. And I was living my life like that for 8 years. And my child, my Riley, my first, at that time, she was 6, and I was still doing that every day. And she'd see that Monday to Friday, and she was in daycare until, pick her up at like 5:30. I'd drop her off at like 7:15, and I'd pick her up at 5:30. And we wouldn't see each other that whole time, Monday to Friday, every single day. And I didn't have to do that anymore. And it was scary. Like, I'm not gonna be like, no, I was like, I'm fine, whatever. I was a single mom of 2 with no more income. Suddenly, boom, done. That is terrifying, yes. However, I had my freak out moment. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Ah. But then again, I had that moment of like, breathe it out. We're good. Now, I'm choosing to trust in the universe, trust in God, trust in whatever you want. It could be unicorns, okay? And know in my heart that I'm gonna be okay. Now, not every day did I feel like I'm gonna be okay. Of course I had, it comes in waves, like anything, like healing, like, whatever. It's gonna come in. But for the most part, looking back, okay, almost, what is it? Oh my God, is it almost 2 years? 2 years now since that happened. Wow, crazy. Okay. But yeah, it was nuts, but, oh no, so Riley was 7. Anyways, sorry. But yeah, so for a long time there was like up and down and, oh my God, can I do this? But for the most part, it was, I can do this. It's gonna work out. I hated that job anyways. This is an opportunity to turn everything around. I have an opportunity to do things that I enjoy doing. I have an opportunity to not have my kid in daycare for all hours, of the day. I have, an opportunity to spend more time with my kids. I just had a baby. He was like just almost 1 when this all happened. And I was like, wow, like maybe I'll be able to be home with him full time. I always dreamed of that. When Riley was small, I dreamed of that. I prayed for that. And maybe it's all happening for that. And it turns out, guess what? I've been able to start a business. I've been able to start mentoring other women, single mothers. I've been able to start writing, do freelance writing jobs. I've always wanted to be a writer. I'm on the down low working on my book. It's taking forever. I kind of dabble in and out of that. That is happening for sure in my lifetime, okay? But yeah, I've been able to do so many side projects and fun projects and work on things that I love, that, the podcast, YouTube channel, all of these things, being able to connect one-on-one with a lot of you. And it brings me so much more joy. Every day when I wake up, I'm like, yes, I'm doing something that I like. I'm thriving in my business, in my career, and I'm feeling passionate every day in the projects that I'm working on and the women that I'm working with. I could never say that before in corporate, ever. You would have never heard those words come out of my mouth. So I want you to trust that even the hard shit is good, okay? At the end of it, you've got this. You have the choice to thrive. You have the choice to just do the damn thing and enjoy it and learn the lessons along the way. I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you.